Yeah, I stayed there. Puff woke me up in L.A. one morning and said, yo, I need you. I said, well, what's up? He said, I need you to go to Miami. He said, I'm letting Chris and Rihanna stay at the house. I need you to make sure everything is all right.
Was he at the house too?
Nah, he wasn't there. He stayed in L.A.
Oh.
And he just sent me because he gave them the house to try to get their stuff together and everything else like that.
Huh.
And it was paparazzi across the street. He said, I just need you to make sure that the cameras don't get in there and everything. So I flew out there, and it was even pictures of me and Chris Brown and them on the jet skis out there. So I stayed out there for the week and a half, and they told me everything that happened, and, they was trying to get it together.
How was the interaction between Rihanna and Chris Brown during that time? Were they really getting along, or was there some arguments, or?
Nah, she wasn't really fucking with him.
Oh, really?
Even when she was there, I think Puff had told him to go out and buy a Cartier bracelet. He said, yo, you got to go buy her some gifts. So he went out there and brought a Cartier bracelet and all type of stuff. She was running around with her girlfriends. She had her girlfriends at the house, too. And they was just running around. Paparazzi was up in the air, and helicopters trying to get pictures. So they was running from house to house, hiding from underneath. But she wasn't really dealing with him. She was talking to him, you know what I'm saying? But she really wasn't. You seen the distance between them. And Chris had told me, he said, yo, she's mean. He said she spazzed out on me about the girl, and she hit me upside my head.
He told you about the actual incident.
Yeah.
So tell me exactly what he said.
He said somebody had texted him. He didn't tell me who texted him, but he said she had grabbed the phone and she seen the text. And she hit him upside the head. You know what I'm saying? He said when she hit him upside the head, he said, yo, Barnes, I'm not going to lie. He said, I just spazzed out. He said, I blinked. He said, I blinked. He said, I blanked out. He said, I'm sorry, man. He said, but I blanked out. He said, Shorty, we was sitting right at the pool. He said, Shorty is mean, yo. You don't know how mean she is. And he said, when she just hit me upside my head like that, he said, I just blinked out.
Yeah, no one ever wants to talk about this part.
Yeah.
People always want to, paint Chris Brown as the monster. And, it still haunts him to this day. Like, he still loses gigs. I remember he was supposed to do like a Michael Jackson thing on BET, and they cut him out of it and so forth, all because of this whole Rihanna thing.
Right.
But no one wants to talk about how Rihanna threw the first punch.
Right.
And Rihanna's not a little girl. I've interviewed Rihanna before, earlier in her career. She's like my height. She's like 6 foot tall. Like with heels, she's like 6'2".
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got this husky girl essentially probably hitting you as hard as she can because she's angry, but you're the bad guy for retaliating, unfortunately. That's how society works.
Yeah, I mean, you the bad guy regardless because she's a woman.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And what I'm saying, they're about the same size.
Chris is not a little dude.
No, he's not a little dude.
You know what I'm saying? Especially at this time. We talking at the age of 17, maybe?
No, they're like 19, I think, 20.
Yeah. Okay, we talking about at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And when Chris stood next to Rihanna at that time, he was bigger than her.
No, I'm not saying the same size. I'm just saying getting punched in the head by Rihanna, I wouldn't look forward to that. Yeah. That seems like that probably hurts.
Yeah, no, it probably did. But he definitely said he was wrong. Yeah. And he definitely said, he said, I blanked out. That was his exact
because
words.
no one wants to get hit.
Yeah.
You know
and it don't sound like it was the first time.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? It don't sound like it was the first time. On him. Yeah, he said, yo, she always hit me upside my head. He said, yo, she just mean, yo.
Huh.
And I guess he just reached, that limit at one time right there.
I mean, it was interesting when Kid Cudi got on the stand, he basically was like, I guess Puffy wanted to meet up with him to talk about the situation. And he wanted to like whoop his ass because he was mad about the dog and whatever. And he said that Puffy looked like a supervillain.
Right.
Right. But what he said was, as he's meeting with Puffy, Cassie walks in.
Okay.
And he was like, and I remember Brian Steele cross-examined him. He was like, how'd you feel when you saw that? And he said, I think she was playing both of us.
Right. That's that's Puff doing. Because that's one of those things where I'm going to show you that, quote unquote, she belonged to me. Yeah. I'm going to show you my power. Yeah. Puff is big on power. Everything with him is power. And that's why he in this situation right now, because it's power. People don't understand. People say, yo, what you got to understand is that you have employees. You got people that's scared for their job. You got people that's scared of being blackballed. You got people that don't want to see his power exerted. So before this happened, this was one of the powerfulest men in the industry from back in Wendy Williams' days.
I guess people like to use this whole blackball term loosely, and I've always felt, because I've been in the music industry since like, maybe 2002? Mm-hmm. You know, it's coming up on 25 years. Mm-hmm. I always felt it was bullshit. Because, for example, I'll tell you one situation. Me and you haven't talked about this before.
Right.
But at one point, this was maybe 2009, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe 2009, 2010. Nude photos had leaked of Cassie.
Okay.
It was a picture of her on the bed with her legs spread open and her titties out. You know, she was naked. You could see like the nipple rings and stuff like that. And it was just her with her legs open. So with this being the early days.
I didn't see those, huh?
Huh?
I didn't see those.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw them. They're all over the place. They're all gone now. They're scrubbed off the internet. But I was, there weren't too many websites around. It was us, World Star, Now Right, only a couple blogs and so forth. So we posted them.
Okay.
Right? So.
Oh, wow. All right.
I'm like, fuck it. We get tons of views.
You still got them?
Was that?
You still got them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think I still have them anymore.
Wow.
So what happened was, me and Sean Prez have been friends forever,
right?
Since my mixtape days. Sean calls me and was like, Puffy wants to talk to you. And I said, no, thanks. He goes, what, you don't want to talk to Puff? He seemed surprised. I'm like, no, because I know what this is about. This is about these pictures. He's going to get on the phone. He's going to yell at me, and I don't take that well.
Right.
I don't let another man yell at me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And this is what I think this is about to happen. So I don't give a fuck. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Exactly.
So he goes, all right, well, I'll tell him. An hour later, I get a call from Steve Rifkin.
Okay.
Who was, the president of SRC Records / Loud Records, Wu-Tang, whatever else. Now, at the time, Vlad TV was located inside of SRC Records at Universal.
Okay.
They actually gave us office space, so I was sort of like a VP over there, sort of.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty much.
I know Steve,
Yeah. Cool dude. So Steve calls me, and he was like, Puffy just yelled at me for the last 30 minutes about this picture on your website. Can you please take it down?
Right.
I said, sure, Steve, I got you. Because at that point, he basically called my boss.
Right.
To try to, because he knew I wouldn't take his call. So I couldn't say no to Steve because I had desks at his office. So I had to take it down.
Right.
But that was like what was happening during that time.
Right.
And I heard that Puff was like calling all the blogs personally and like threatening him and yelling and whatever else.
Right.
But my thing was like, I don't give a shit about Puff.
Right.
Puff, yes, he has his place in the industry, but he doesn't run everything.
Right. Right.
If Puff wants to blackball me and say, oh, no bad boy artists on Vlad TV, who gives a shit? There's 10 other labels. There's a million other artists. When people say, oh, we're being blackballed, whatever else, I just feel like it's an excuse.
Nah, I think it depends on what part of the industry you in. If you're a personal assistant, him blackballing you will be bigger than if you're a blogger. Because if you're a blogger at that particular time, you're supposed to sell what's going to get you the most views. Say even now, the most views, the most hits, the most anything. So people understand that. But when you're a personal assistant and then somebody tell you, yo, they've been spreading my business around, they've been doing, these are things that could kill you. Because when you that type of person, well, why did you leave Puff? That's the first thing they ask you. Why did you leave? Even in security.
Oh, they'll call Puff and Puff will say, oh, she stole, or she's foul, she's a liar. I guess, but people still hire people even, because here's the thing, lots of people don't like Puff.
Right.
So it's like, okay, fuck him too.
But you got a lot of people that don't like Puff, but you got a lot of people that don't want to be his enemy neither.
Oh, I see. So by hiring this assistant, you now have a beef
with
Puff,
why you
and it's
think
just more of a headache.
couldn't find shit? She couldn't find shit because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's people that's going to need him. It's money talk.
Okay.
Money talk.
I see what you're saying. Well, one of the security guards from the Intercontinental took the stand.
Right.
And what he said was that Puffy paid him $100,000 for the security footage. Gave it to him in a brown paper bag full of cash. He split it with the other security guards. His cut was $30,000. I guess Puff was like, oh, make sure you don't like get too flashy with the money. You don't want to attract any attention, whatever else. And the footage disappeared for a while. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about this at all? Because this was after you left, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear about that until I seen the video. Once I seen the video, I was like, whoa.
I had heard there was another situation. It was like some fight happened in a club, and Puff, like I guess some dude like walked up, and Puff was kind of turned off by him. He had the security basically beat his ass, and then when he went to try to go sue, the club didn't have that footage. Did you hear of Puff buying footage and hiding footage and stuff like that when situations recur, or not really?
I heard of something with Cassie and a guy in the club. The guy was talking to Cassie in the club, and Puff smacked him. You know what I'm saying? Puff smacked him, and then Jay-Z got involved in it because Jay-Z knew the dude that Puff smacked.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And I heard Puff call Jay-Z. I wasn't, by the grace of God, I wasn't working that night neither. I think D-Rock was working that night. And when I came to work, a few days later, they told me the story. And I forgot, I can't remember who told me, but I know that Jay-Z or somebody in Jay-Z camp had spoke to the dude, and the dude said, yo, tell Puff, give me 30,000. And they had to give him 30,000, and the dude never pressed charges. I don't know about footage of a fume or nothing. I know the guy himself didn't press no charges for the 30,000, which Puff kept that type of money in his safe. You know what I'm saying, for emergency situations. 100,000 was nothing to be inside the safe. 30,000 was nothing just to be inside the safe like that.